Hello. Welcome in. This is the PHLY Phillies post-game show podcast presented by Ace Hardware Home Services. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com. I love Ace. They have the trusted pros. Now those trusted pros come right to your door and they'll fix all the stuff you don't want to deal with. You know what I don't want to deal with right now? It has nothing to do with Ace Hardware. I don't want to deal with this Phillies baseball team right now, and I don't want to deal with the reality of this situation that the window has closed. I don't want to say fully closed because that would be ridiculous. You have a core of this baseball team who is damn near nearing $1 billion in payroll.
Preach.
These are guys that are not spring chickens anymore, Renee.
Preach, Jamie, preach.
These are guys that are in the prime and the backside of the prime of their careers. And there was a real win now smell in the air this year.
Smell.
That window closed in the worst fashion in 3 years.
Closed.
In a frankly embarrassing fashion.
Embarrassing.
This is not good.
Bad.
I brought us some consolation pickles.
Because we're losers.
I brought us some Miller Lights because
still losers.
God knows we need some cold, refreshing, light beer.
Try not to cry.
There's so much that went wrong.
Lots. Bad.
There's so much bad about this series.
All of it.
I don't, Renee, we left the watch along. You were taking some notes. I wasn't really taking notes. I was more just going to shoot from the hip and vibe it.
Fire away.
I don't know where to start here.
Start at the end.
There's so much to be unhappy with.
Pissed.
Except for Ranger Suarez.
Maybe.
He's a sweet, darling baby boy
but it's
that I will never talk bad about. There was one man that showed up tonight. It was Ranger Suarez. Everybody else sucked.
Whole team.
We'll get into the bullpen. We'll get into the temperature check on the bullpen. All of it. We'll get into Rob Thompson. We'll get into What the hell?
There it is. Was waiting for that moment. Let it out. Let it all out.
Look, I guess I'm starting at the bullpen. And that might not be fair because the offense was dreadful.
Period.
But I feel most betrayed by the bullpen. Does that make sense?
Benedict Arnold.
Renee Washington, Jamie Lynch, Tyler Zulli. To all you Mets fans from Rat City, welcome in. All we ask of you is hit that thumbs up or thumbs down button.
Por favor.
Just feed that YouTube algorithm for us.
Please.
You're here. Enjoy the NLCS. I'm rooting for the Padres.
Happy, not happy for you.
Renee, I guess I'll start with the bullpen because the offense is the clear, obvious problem with this team. I can't think of a worse go of it from a bullpen ever.
Give us the ERAs.
I don't know if people are ready for that, Renee. You want to hear some ERAs? You want to hear some ERAs?
Let me stop speaking in 1 and 2 words. That was really difficult.
I'm trying to process where I want to go with my anger.
I'm just trying to let you vent before I vent, before Tyler vents, before we all vent. I'm trying to let you rock first because
Jeff Hoffman and Matt Strom. I'm going to start with the bullpen. Obviously, I think the offense is the biggest issue.
Drop them ERAs.
Let me preface this.
Drop those
But
ERAs.
this bullpen was supposed to be the strength. And I don't hate any of these guys. They had phenomenal 162 game baseball seasons.
-4.
5 games decided how I feel about all of them.
5.
Well, 4. Excuse me. A 5-game series, a 4-game reality decided how I feel. Jeff Hoffman left this series with a 40.50 ERA. Matt Strom left this series with a 36 ERA.
36.
The offense clearly is the biggest issue, but man, this bullpen
Down bad.
Failed in spectacular fashion. That's not letting the offense off. But I guess I'm just shooting from the hip here. Bullpen, because it's maybe the most recent thing we reacted to. I'm going to have a pickle while you react. This bullpen really kind of stabbed us all in the back, and it hurts.
Let me clear some space for this because I need some room to work. Because I got a pickle seed by my microphone here.
Pickles
I'll just get that
won't let
later.
you down like the Phillies will. Miller Lite won't let you down like the Phillies will.
We've been here before. This is not our first time here. This is not our first rodeo. This is not our first rodeo. I recall a year ago, I had to put a jacket on. I didn't want to even wear my Phillies shirt. I feel like shame. It's shameful. Can't even proudly wear my Phillies shirt because it was a year ago, a little less than a year ago, to be honest, that the Phillies were up 3-2, headed back to the bank where you're supposed to defend the bank. I'm not flashing you guys. That's the shirt.
That would get some new viewers in here, Renee.
I don't know.
Don't give it away for free, though. Don't twerk for free. Never twerk for free.
After being up 3-2 in the NLCS to the Diamondbacks, coming back home, we saw back-to-back games for Craig Kimbrell, Orion Kirkring, unable to pitch. The bullpen again cost us. And in that moment, we thought, you know what? This won't happen again. The bullpen, the cold bats, the home runner bust, the thin bullpen and having to go to guys like a Craig Kimbrell who didn't have it, they surely will spend the next 162 games correcting things. They surely will not do the exact same thing next year. All magical regular season of 2024 that is now over. We quite literally spent the entire season saying, we don't have PTS of the NLCS anymore. That was last season's team. This is a new team. It's not the same group. We can't. Oh no, we work here. We live here. Don't throw the beer.
It's fine.
Kids.
It was empty. I got every drop out of it.
We don't have to worry because this team's built for the distance. They've got the depth, the experience. They've been tested. They've been here before, and they're going to be ready for the playoffs. We were excited. They're going to turn on the magical switch even after that awful 500 winning percentage in the second half of the season. It doesn't matter. We've got Bryce. We've got all the guys we pay money to. We've got the starting pitching. We're the best team in baseball. I even got dragged on Twitter. Dragged. Because I said this about sums up the Phillies series. And I was told this is the best team in baseball. How can you bad talk them? Here we are sitting on October 9th. The season is over. Because you know what, guys? Fun fact. Being the best team in the regular season does not mean you're going to cakewalk your way to the World Series. You actually have to show up. You actually have to score runs. I'm sorry. Let me not even talk about runs, Jamie. You actually have to get hits. You actually have to not have 1, 2, 3 innings and make sure your at-bats are something. You actually have to have the ability to give your pitchers some run support. And then when your bullpen does come out, you actually have to have scoreless innings. You cannot have teams. I don't care who they are. It can be the T-ball legends. You cannot continue to have teams go out there and have bases loaded situations and continue to play with fire and not get burned. You got burned, and now we're home, and now the season's over. So for everybody and their mom, dad, whoever else that wanted to sit up and make excuses, every time the Phillies did something wrong this season, all we heard was, oh, not a problem. They're the best team in baseball. It's going to figure itself out. Trey Turner's going to be fine. JT's going to be fine. Price is going to be fine. Everybody's going to just be fine. This is fine. You know what? We look like the burning house gif where everything's fine. This is fine. Looking like idiots while the house burns down around us. It's not fine. You can't magically turn things on. And I don't care what sport you're in. I don't care what city you're in. I don't care what team you are. You have to put together as best as you can a consistent full season. You can have the best first half of the season. And now that's enough. Like magically, we're just going to win the World Series because we're the best team in baseball. Everybody's got individual accolades. Everybody's breaking all these records since the modern era. Since 1900, the start of 1900s, 1902, first time ever this has happened. All to then crap the bed for the second half of the season, but still, through the crap, continue to say, everything's fine. This team's just going to figure it out in the playoffs. We're just going to turn to October 1st and magically everything's going to be fine. So it pisses me off that there's been excuse after excuse after excuse. There's been all these reasons why we justify this team has not been the best team in baseball since
London.
July for what was that? June. Since June. Because it did start in the London series. And it has not been okay. And look what happens when you want to do all this talking, but nobody wants to actually step up. Everybody can say all the right things, give us all the witty interviews, all the vibes, all the playlists. But you know what? How do those playlists help you? How do those vibes help you when you guys look dead in the eyes, dead in the face, nobody has a pulse, and you're out there swinging and missing left and right? You have your pitchers going out, giving you incredible performances for nobody to show up on offense. It was Adorable Ranger tonight. It was Zach Wheeler. It was Aaron Nola. It was Christopher Sanchez. Where's your heart? Where's your pride? Where do you stack up as you want to talk about one of the best teams of all time to ever wear a Phillies uniform? And you can't even show up in the playoffs. I don't even mind a loss. If you lose going down swinging and fighting and battling and competing, I could give the Mets give them their props. You were the better team today. But to lose game after game, of the 4 games this series, we saw 3 consistent innings that the Phillies were actually there. Outside of those 3 innings, and Kyle Schwarber's leadoff home run, which was 1 at bat, what have we seen from the Phillies this postseason? They never got off the bus. They never showed up. That's all. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
We have a super chat there. Real time Prince Blue.
Whoa.
I was trying to let her cook. She was on a roll.
I'm
there.
done. Let me finish my Miller Lite while you
What
cook.
happened when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? I was just trying to let her go. She was on a kick there.
I'm done for now. Done like the Phillies.
My mind is going. All right, so we checked off Real Prince Blue there. Let's just knock out a couple super chats right off the bat, because part of the job I love doing, whether you're joining our Discord here at PHLY, joining us in the chat, we're a message board for you guys. And, a lot of times we say what you're saying, a lot of times we don't. So let's go to the super chats. People right off the bat have a lot to say.
Get it off your chest.
Let's start off at the bottom there, Tyler, at least my bottom. I see Todd Gebhardt says, Renee, worth $10 super chat.
Thanks. It's the most money I've ever gotten paid.
Don't twerk for free. You twerked verbally through hatred and disgust of your baseball team for not free. So thank you, Todd. Let's go to Brian Pumper. Brian Pumper, who was with us a lot last game. Thank you, Brian, for coming back.
Be pumped.
I can't believe we let Lindor, Big Goofy Goober Alonso, and freaking Nimmo. Finding Nemo, freaking Nemo, whatever you want to call him.
Finding Nemo. The
created
movie.
Character Mark Vientos, industry plant Mark Vientos. A lot of people are saying Rob Manfred industry planted him like Courtney Cox in the Bruce Springsteen video. Yes, now all of a sudden he's a huge problem. Jay Flo, welcome back from last postseason. This is an annual event for us, Jay Flo.
Back again. Same problems. Same thing.
Need to blow up the roster top to bottom. We're going to get to that. Brian Pumper again hits us with a agree or not agree. Phillies quit today to ensure there was no possibility it happened at CBP. There is a lot of weak sauce energy coming from that club. Great can toss.
Did you see that?
Bums. Last one from Todd Gebhardt. I can't see that because of the lights. Sirianni. Fire Sirianni, right? Thank you, Todd. Thank you to everyone in the super chat.
Oh boy.
A lot to react to.
I'm sweating, actually.
A lot to react to here.
Try this again.
Let's start, I suppose, in the beginning.
Oh gosh.
Ranger Suarez.
Question.
Starting pitching did not let you down this series.
Before we even get into his numbers.
I don't even care about his numbers. I just want to give that man a round of applause because it is the best he's looked in 7 or 8 weeks in the biggest spot with a team on the road. Ranger Suarez went out there and gave you a chance to win a game.
Yeah.
Everything else failed. Starting pitching this series was great. I will make a vow for me, Tyler, and Renee right now that Christopher Sanchez, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, you're safe. I have nothing bad to say about any of the four of them. I don't imagine you guys do either, because everything else went wrong. Starting pitching this series was not the problem. It was good.
My only issue with the starting pitching is, can you also give us some at-bats? Can we go back to pitchers batting?
I was real close to pinch hitting Aaron Nola there.
I mean, at this point, like in reality, there was a time pitchers could also give you some at-bats. And to be honest with them being the only ones that showed up, maybe they needed to go to take some bats. Listen, for Ranger Suarez, you want to talk about how superb he played today.
He was fantastic.
I know we have some more super chats coming in that we'll get to in a moment. Ranger Suarez, today, he has the lowest ERA in postseason history across Major League Baseball for minimum 5 starts. He's in the category. He's number 4. He's got a 1.43 ERA. That was after the first 4 1/3 scoreless innings for Ranger Suarez. He joins in that list. Wild Bill Hallahan. Good old Bill. Woo! Oh, wow. With a 1.36 ERA. Ian Anderson with a 1.26 ERA. And good old Sandy Koufax.
Heard of him.
Sub 1.95 postseason ERA. With Ranger Suarez having one of the best postseason ERAs in history. The only 2 pitchers this century, we're still doing century records, guys, to allow 9+ base runners in a scoreless postseason outing with 8+ Ks. Ranger Suarez did it, right, and Cole Hamels did it back in 2011, the NLDS Game 3.
We got the birds, man.
Oh, do you want to do your vent? We all did our venting.
Black Ready, you want to vent?
Would you like to vent?
30 seconds. The floor is yours.
Dombrowski, you got to get rid of half of everybody. Middleton, we let you down, baby. Bryce, thank you for choosing me, but you can't pick any more of your friends to come on the team, bro. I can't have no more Harper friends. I want one of his enemies. I want vitriol in the clubhouse. I want spice and fire. On the way down from the bus, go down to Philadelphia and help the hurricane relief. Don't stop in Philadelphia. It is not safe. It is not safe. Red October.
Black Gritty, ladies and gentlemen. He speaks for all of us.
Wish you could join us on better terms.
There's so much pain in that voice.
So much pain. So much pain.
Next time.
Yeah. Enough of this. We don't need to have any more friends. We don't need to. You know what? I don't care about a guy who's a good clubhouse guy at this point. Because you know what's a bad clubhouse guy? The guy that doesn't help you win in the postseason. I don't care about hurting people's feelings. Because you know what hurts your feelings? Losing in the postseason. So when Ranger Suarez goes out there, and again, only 2 pitchers this century for the Phillies that have allowed 9+ base runners, which that's not great, but it's okay. We're going to let you cook because we saw the bases loaded twice for Ranger Suarez, 3 times all game. 9+ base runners in a scoreless postseason outing with 8+ Ks. Ranger Suarez tonight and Cole Hamels, NLDS Game 3, 2011. You can't have your starting pitching going out there battling only for nobody else to show up.
I thought the game was lost at an exact moment. I said it out loud to all of you guys during the watch along. I'm curious if you guys agree. Tyler, I have a strong feeling you agree with me on this one. Renee, I think you agree. I think everybody's going to agree. Bryce Harper, leadoff double, smoked 98.1. First at bat, top of the 6th inning. You're up 1-0. There's a runner in scoring position. There's 0 outs. You have to get that run home by any means possible. Nick Castellanos, strikeout.
Okay.
Alec Bohm, walk. Didn't see it coming. Great at-bat by Alec Bohm. Grinded, saw some pitches, forced the pitcher to put him on base. You're feeling real good, right? Well, JT Realmuto, strikeout. Immediately start to feel bad. Bryson Stott, ground out. That was it. That was the moment. I looked at all of you and I said, that's probably the game. Because you have to take advantage of a man in scoring position with no outs, or it's going to kill you in playoff baseball. And even if it's just 2-0, it changes the next inning. It changes it. That was the moment they lost the game to me. JD Martinez, Sterling Marte, Taylor, Alvarez, and then Lindor, grand slam. You had a walk. You had a hit by pitch mixed in. Of course, Marte takes another one. He dorns it up. No excuses. The offense, ultimately, Renee, before we tell you about some of our friends here and take a break, just to tell you about those, the offense ultimately was their undoing.
Bad.
It was overall top to bottom terrible. I know our NRD has dug up some numbers on who failed you.
They all failed us.
Well, I mean, it's a collective effort. This is just
It's a collective
They all failed
effort,
us.
but some guys came up really
This
small.
is just three guys in particular that I was diving into specifically while you guys were talking. Now, JT did walk twice today, but he was 0 for 11 in the series. Alec Boehm was 1 for 13. Brandon Marsh was 1 for 13 in the series as well. This is not a microcosm of it's a microcosm of the entirety of the series. These three guys specifically they glaringly jumped out to you. You put those three together, that is 2 for 38 in the series. 2 for 38 from the guy that is perceivably your 4-hole hitter for majority of the year, was the 5-hole hitter in the postseason. From JT Realmuto, who hit somewhere between 5 and 7 most of the year. From Brandon Marsh, who now I know he was thought about to be the platoon at some point, but he started in center tonight. He had started and left in previous games. That is 2 for 38 from three guys. That's not the entirety. This isn't to cast off blame from the rest of the team. This is a collective offensive failure. 4 hits again tonight, a 170 expected batting average on their balls in play.
Wow.
But you take those three guys specifically, those are easy, poppable numbers. 3 for 38 from a third of your lineup.
Bad.
That is
Bad.
hashtag analytics, hashtag very bad.
And it's the playoffs we're talking about. And we're talking about, I mean, you look at yesterday and today, definitely today, it's an elimination game. This is the performance we got from the Phillies in a must-win elimination game. I think that's what actually makes this all the most concerning. You can actually look at game 1, for example. I know we're going to get into some, we got to take care of some business really quickly, but really fast. You can look at game 1 and say, it's game 1. They weren't ready. Game 2, bounce back. Incredible ending to game 2 with their final few innings. Of course, they score all their runs. It's back-to-back home runs. It's Bryson Stott's 2 RBIs. It's Nick Castellanos' walk-off. Momentum. Game 3, you're swinging back on the road, maybe? Question mark? What is the excuse in an elimination game? There is no do-over. There is no waiting for Zach Wheeler to pitch on Friday. There is no we'll get them next time. There is no we'll come back from the dead and have new life. It's over. It's over. And it's frustrating because this team has had the talent, but they do not step up in big moments. We have seen them this season have the ups and the downs. And again, we've made excuses for it, but those excuses ultimately came to bite you in the butt. And now the Mets advance for the first time in 8-9 years, their first ever series that they've won at home at Citi Field in the postseason. And we've got Mets fans in the chat. I know you're thrilled. You should be excited. Happy for you that you are moving on the NLCS.
I'm not happy for any
in the
of that.
sense
Screw
that
them. Go
the Phillies
Padres.
just were like, here you go. We're not going to show up. Here's the NLDS. Take this and move on because we don't want to play baseball anymore. We've done enough. It's just ridiculous. The Mets showed up. The Phillies did not. And they got outplayed every single game of this series.
Yeah, you know who hasn't let me down, Renee? It's a friend of ours. They're over at a company. You know the jingle. You've heard it forever. Well, it's our friends at Empire Today. Empire Today. And if you go to empiretoday.com/PHLY, you can get $350 off new floors. And if you're like me, you hate going to stores. You hate big box stores because, one, there's hardly not enough employees to service your needs and answer your questions and help you find the right stuff. Well, Empire Today brings that shop-at-home convenience right to your front door because with their virtual home floor designer, you can get a look at your new floors in your house right there within your walls, under your ceiling, with your furniture, with your aesthetic and colors and all that. And Empire Today isn't going to beat you over the head with thousands of options of things. They're going to bring to you, after listening to you, what you want, what you're desiring, and only things that they would put in their own house. And that virtual floor designer will show you what those new floors look like right there on your new floor. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code PHLY. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHLY for details.
All right, let me also take this time to tell you about if you have a team that's still worth buying tickets for, a place you can buy tickets is with the Game Time app.
All you fans in Rat City, listen to Renee right now. She's about to spit facts about Game Time.
For those of you that are Mets fans, you still have games to buy tickets for. Phillies fans, we don't have any game tickets for. Now we're looking to buy Eagles tickets and Sixers tickets and Flyers tickets. But for Mets fans or anybody else looking to buy baseball tickets, for example, because playoff baseball is still happening in your household, you can check tickets out at the Game Time app. The Game Time app also has their Game Time picks. I have used them myself when I was going to the link to watch the Eagles play. And with the Game Time picks, they give you the best prices and seats combination. So the greatest value for seats you can get with a good price, good location, and they just really simplify it. It can be overwhelming when you're buying tickets and you're looking at that upcoming live event on the app, and there's all these options for seats and prices and so much to try to sort through. But with the Game Time picks, they do simplify that process for you. They also have curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on seats. They've got super deals. They've got seat views. So from the Game Time app, right on your phone, you have a chance to see an idea of where you're going to be sitting when you go to watch that game. So now you have a nice view of what's the ballpark going to look like, the court, the field, the rink, whichever game you're going to, or maybe you're going to a concert, a comedy show. We could use a good laugh right about now. Maybe you're going to go sing your heart out at a concert. Whatever events you're going to, sports or entertainment, with the Game Time app, they've got great prices for you. They've got good deals for you, the lowest price guaranteed, as well as some Game Time ticket coverage. So if for any reason you cannot attend after a while, maybe you got sick, maybe something changed in your plans, well, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use that code PHLY, and get $20 off. Download the Game Time app today because for some people, what time is it? Game time. Not game time here, though. It's the end.
This is the end.
I feel like we should be singing like a...
yeah, I feel like Jim Morrison right now.
Yeah, like the goodbye song. This is like the final...
Maybe I should be like Jim Morrison and go do some acid in the desert and find myself because sports are stupid. And thanks for tuning in to the PHLY Phillies post-game podcast brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services. Don't do acid and go to Ace Hardware. That would be bad. Just have Ace Hardware Home Services come to your house and fix the problems that you can't handle, like me. All right, real quick. I have to just complain about Rob Thompson for a second because I do not believe Rob Thompson is the reason the Phillies lost this series. I think most of the moves he made this series were logically sound. The right move. I'm not going to roast Rob Thompson for hardly anything. Great job getting a pickle there because pickles, they mean happiness. Phillies do not necessarily mean happiness. The thing I want to bitch about Rob Thompson real quick is Alec Boehm had a double down the line.
Oh,
and
my
gosh. This is not why the series failed. This is not why they lost that game. I just simply don't understand it. Alec Boehm had a clear double down the line.
Ball bounced in play.
Runner on first. If this is the bag, the ball cut on the inside path and went foul. That was a double. Alec Boehm knew it was a double. He swiped the bag. Paco Figueroa had to jump in between Alec Boehm and the umpire to say, hey, don't kick him out. He didn't really mean it. That was a double. It's the 8th inning. Your team is all but done.
Season's ending.
How do you not get kicked out of the game there?
Correct.
Now, it doesn't change anything. Chances are we're still doing a defeated post-game show. How does human reaction and instinct not lead you to seeing red there?
I'm seeing red.
Renee, Rob Thompson is not to blame for why the Phillies they lost this series. How does he not react more there? I would have been incensed. I would have been kicking dirt on their shins. I would have been belly bumping them, and I would have been spittling all over their face with rage.
Yep.
How?
Yep.
How does he not get kicked out of the game there? There's only a half inning left, basically. You serve no purpose anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're done.
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing with that?
Yep. Here's my issue.
And Tyler, after Renee, please, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Here's my issue.
Because that really annoyed me at the end when it was over. Why are you not fighting for your guys? And don't give me the
that's not me.
What good would it have
Correct.
done?
Or that's not my demeanor. I don't do that.
Yeah.
You know
Don't give
what?
me any of that.
Apparently what you also don't do is win in big moments. And my issue with Rob is bigger than even just that play. It's the fact that this is not a one-time fluke of the Phillies. You know, I know you guys in the chat are saying, why are you guys so upset? And the Phillies crapped the bed and yada, yada, yada. Because we talk about this team all year round. We're there in spring training. This is not a once every blue moon that we talk about the Phillies. We are talking about the Phillies every single day, starting every single day all year. Off season, now that we're in the off season, spring training, we're talking about baseball around the draft. We are actively locked in and engaged and following this team. And aside from our actual jobs to follow them, we are passionate a bit about this team. We do care about this team.
Sure.
And when you care about a team, you don't let them continue to make the same blunders over and over again and nobody speak up.
I asked
and
my
that
daughter
is my
to clean
issue.
her room last night, and she went, why? And I went, because I said so, and it's time to clean your room. Like,
Accountability.
same thing. Like Rob Thompson.
That's my issue, though.
What are you?
That's my issue.
Why are you not reacting to that?
That's what I was going to get to. My issue with Rob is bigger than even him not reacting to that call, because I'm sick and tired of this narrative that Rob Thompson and the Phillies don't have an emotional reaction to anything. They're going to give you the calm demeanor, not too high,
It's
not
not
too low.
162
They're going to
game
give you
season
this
anymore.
calmness. They never going to argue the calls and no, it's sports. You see Fernando Tatis Jr. out there taunting, trash talking the Dodgers
Twerking.
fan. You know how contagious that is when one of your best players is in the outfield making plays and then adding a little extra to it, taunting fans. You got them throwing stuff on the field. You're in the tunnel. You're rallying the troops. Who is this voice? I said this last year, and I remember people saying in the chat, oh, that's just not the Phillies. You know, they're just not going to be that team that you know, is very outgoing. They don't have that vocal leader. That's bull. This is sports we're talking about. Who's going to be the person to step up? And Rob's demeanor is contagious because not only did he not argue that, Alec Bohm is the only one that argued that play. Everybody else was like church mice, quiet.
That's a
you
totally
should be
different game.
pissed off. If
Yeah.
I'm on the verge, and I've actually been in situations, my season's on the line.
I'm picking that base up and I'm
fighting
throwing
somebody.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
fighting someone. Season's over. That's a wrap. I'm pissed off. I'm seeing red. Whoever speaks to me or blinks at me the wrong way, you're going to catch some words. You might even catch his hands. But for the Phillies to have this whole calm, cool, and collected demeanor, to me, is a cop-out thing. Because your season's on the line. This is it. There's no waiting.
And an
There's no
umpire
holding it.
unfairly got a call blatantly
Very
wrong.
bad.
And again, preface to all you Rat City people tuning in here, this is not why the Phillies lost the series.
Not at all.
But
Not at all.
But to a 30,000-foot view, looking down on it, how does one not react there?
What message does that say to your team?
I hear your point. It kind of sends this lifeless, like, oh, well, I guess we'll go out and get them next half inning,
oops,
guys.
It's okay.
No, sometimes I said halfway through the season, this team needs to fight somebody. Like, this team needs a wake
that.
up. Like, they need something. And for Rob Thompson to just sit there and not get off the top railing when a
didn't even
double
react.
puts a man on
He
second
did
and
not
third
even
with
react.
a game-tying bat coming to plate, like, that doesn't sit well with me. Tyler, I'd love to get your thoughts on this one. It's a microcosm of a 4-game series.
But I think the bigger
but I
picture,
think it speaks to a bigger issue.
this culture of like, we're not going to get riled up needs to be thrown out the window.
Get riled up.
It's a loser cop-out
Fight
answer to
somebody.
me. You are literally losing. Your season is on the line, and we're going to just, we don't, that's not us.
Oh, that
you know
was their
what?
call. We'll
Winners,
just accept
because
it.
when you care about When you hate losing more than you like winning, that passion, that fuel, that fire when the game's on the line is going to bleed through. But instead, you're like, next time, next at bat. And that's the problem. Everybody's waiting for the next at bat, the next person to step up. Instead of being the one, I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna argue with the ump. I'm gonna make a big play. I'm gonna get this catch.
All right, Tyler's
go.
the rational.
I'm sorry, Tyler.
Tyler, we'll go to the NRD and the rational thinker of the three of us. Your thoughts on Rob Thompson not reacting to that?
I gotta be the calming presence now. That's what I have to do.
Unfortunately,
even though so I don't get to be mad today.
Be mad.
When do I get to be mad?
I was like waiting for you to be mad.
If the rational thinker here is mad,
no, but I've been waiting for you to be mad.
It's not mad.
I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, the Rob Thompson thing is a percentage of a percentage of a percentage of a
But
percentage.
what am I missing there?
Well, nothing. I think your manager has to step up and get thrown out. Knowing he's going to get thrown out of the game in that one, I think
your season's over.
You have to step up and at least make a claim for it. It's not going to change the outcome. You can't review it. I think in that tiny, small 1/10 of a second sample size, sure, I think you're right. I think your manager needs to step up.
That's not the only time he's done that, though.
Understand walking out, he's going to probably get tossed.
Yeah.
That's not the only time he's done this, though.
You leave the dugout knowing you're getting ejected there.
How many times have the Phillies this season played like complete dog poop? And then Rob Thompson goes post-game and says, oh, that's baseball for you. Sometimes you can hit, sometimes you can't.
So the reasoning behind the anger is not – it has nothing to do with managerial decisions or not coming out of the dugout. The reason behind the anger is the at-bats for 4 games. So they played 36 innings in this series. Again, I asked John – Marks this question this morning. I asked you guys this last night. They played 36 innings in this series. How many of those innings did you feel like the offense was legitimately competitive and was ready to potentially post a crooked number at any point? I'd give you less than 5, probably.
I say 3. So
3.
off the top of my head without
3 complete innings.
So
6, 7, 8, 9.
You look at a team that struck out 38 times in 4 games. That's over 9 times a game. We talked about the JT numbers, the Bohm numbers, the Marsh numbers. I believe they hit 186 as a collective unit.
Bad.
Zach Wheeler was great. Aaron Nola was okay. I think he was good through 5. Probably should not have been allowed the leash that he was in the 6th. However, it was overall collectively decent. Christopher Sanchez, I thought, pitched well yesterday. Ranger Suarez, despite the fact that he had allowed, I believe, given up 9 base runners in the first 3 innings, the Mets were 0 for 9 with men on base, or excuse me, with stranding runners. And Ranger Suarez kind of gave you a gutsy 5 shutout innings. And at no point did you feel like that his offense was ready to back that up. He was out. He gave you 5 solid innings. And it was 1-0 when he departed the game. And it was no runs scored for Zach Wheeler. Or it was 1 run scored for Zach Wheeler, excuse me, the Kyle Schwarber leadoff home run. And it felt like Aaron Nola got no run support. And it felt like Christopher Sanchez got no run support. And the reason that is because it was. They were dreadful with runners in scoring position. They hit sub 200 as a baseball team. Their chase rate today was actually a little bit better, but it was 38% yesterday's game against Sean Manaea. The
30 on the season.
The anger with me sits with the fact that you have what felt like a complacent lineup. What felt like Nick Castellanos gave the philosophical dead or alive or undead type of thing. And in reality, what it probably should have been is like, we're going to put our head down and we're going to get back to work, and that should have been it. This team was lifeless when their pitching staff needed the most. The bullpen was a disaster. The guys that you turned to all year, the guys that were your high leverage guys, the guys that were all-stars, the guys that pitched in these high leverage situations for a bulk of the year, Jeff Hoffman, Matt Strahm, Orion Kerkering, Carlos Estevez, they were a collective disaster. But to me, everything centers around a lifeless, quite frankly, pathetic offensive performance where you're getting 0 for 11s. You're getting 1 for 13s. You're getting 1 for 13s from multiple guys, I should say. Your runners in scoring position numbers are dreadful.
And
your
by the
inability
way,
to move runners.
he got thrown out at second base.
Correct. It was a single trying to stretch it to a double. This, to me, was a collective failure, and it starts with the offensive unit. The only group that gets a passing
Starting
grade
pitching.
in this series is the starting pitching.
I want to say before we get into the super chat, because I know we have a ton of super chats in there as well, and I know I'm seeing some of the comments in the chat of thoughts on our reactions and whatever else nonsense. We have said from as you just reiterated, as we've said from game one of this series, it is every single player across the Phillies, from Rob Thompson through every single player outside of the starting pitching. The starting pitching has been the only part of this team that has consistently been good and has actually showed up. Everybody else has not looked good. And it doesn't matter who's pitching. It doesn't matter if it's Quintana, if it's Minaya, whoever else is pitching. If the offense does not show up, you're going to make them look like all-stars. You're going to make them look like world beaters. And the Phillies, in a must-win situation, did not show up. And we've talked about it time and time again. And to your point, Tyler, you're bringing up, we've said and used the word lifeless, but that is why I have an issue with Rob Thompson. Just like you as a parent, Jamie, your kids have the same demeanor and personality traits as you and as your wife. They feed off of that. Players are the same way with their coach. And it's by no surprise that in big moments, they are completely lifeless, emotionless, no energy, no response, nobody that's really like picking up the guys, rallying them up, getting them going. Instead, they turn into a pumpkin. They just shut down. And it's just this very meek, timid response to adversity. So that is my biggest pet peeve. When you look at that Rob Thompson play, it's not about, that would never change the game, as we all have said and reiterated. The game is over.
Well, no, it's not over.
The game's not over at that point.
Second
but
and third and one
that's
out.
not going to
drop.
Right. So in that moment, Rob Thompson could have fought for the Phillies the same way the Phillies have needed to fight for themselves all series, and they haven't done it. But I want to give some love to the people that are dropping in some super chats. Tyler, can you actually just click them on the screen? It's even easier when you do it that way. And then we can just go through them. I know we saw some. Wow, we got a lot rolling in here. So Brian Pumper is saying we couldn't even hit the fake Roman Reigns, and my landscaper can't hit lefties. Yeah, Brian sees in the super chat saying the most fitting way for the season to end in the ninth, get 2 runners on because Diaz can't find the zone, promptly end the rally with a weak flyout and 2 Ks. Sounds about right also, Brian. Dom Adams has a couple of super chats coming in. You said Turner should have taken the double play. Better taken 1-1 game 2 outs. Put Lindor on. That was the game. Phillies, no IQ.
So I will say, Renee, I 100% agree with Dom on that one. My exact words were, I believe in this instance, I understand why they cut the run off at the plate. They weren't scoring offensively. But my exact words were, I believe it should be corners in. Yeah. Corners cut the run off at the plate. Middle infield plays for 2. You'll trade in that particular moment. I believe that you would trade a run for a double play, understanding then you could maneuver around Francisco Lindor if you wanted to. It didn't get any easier after that, because then you're dealing with a Mark Vientos and a Brandon Nimmo and a Pete Alonso, who all were quite good in the series. Vientos was sensational in this series. But I think you have some flexibility and maneuverability if the bases aren't loaded with 1 out, even in a 1-1 game. I think in that particular instance, if I were calling the shots, I would have had corners in and the middle infield playing for 2.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a good one. I know you said Turner was slow to the plate with the throw, which is terrible. Yeah, agreed. That is there are specific plays you can look at that were some absolute just bobbled plays. Mitch's motivationals, what's up? Nice to see you. Then I see Brian Pumper. Brian, you're back again. You've got some super chats. You're going to TP and Egg, Citizens Bank Park. You want your refund? You think you might throw up? Who knows? That's kind of everybody's emotional feeling right now, a little bit of everything. And if Rob is in front of you, you might DDT him. Okay. Ed Wright saying that's 2 championship seasons out of 152 chances for as long as you've been alive in Philadelphia sports. Fair. There's been a lot of given up possible championship runs. And then Stephen A., OMG. Let's go, Mets. Phillies fans, tears taste good. So we even have a super chat from a Mets fan.
Tears, Steven. At least give more than $2. At least give me a 5 spot for these tears.
Don't be greedy, Jamie.
No, our tears are only worth $1.99.
More than $2.
We got bills to pay around here.
Yeah, my tears are worth $5.
Let's pay some bills, actually, because we do have some bills to pay. We have lots of fans in the chat that are Phillies fans. Of course, we've got Mets folks in the chat as well. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing. Let's pay some more bills, though, because with this, we are in our post-game show, which means we are nearing... No, we are at the end. We're at the end, Jamie. And you had some bets. Tell them about our friends at Bet365.
Yeah, Bet365. Find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up and deposit $10. Make a $5 wager. $200 in bonus bets will find your way into your account. There is an expiration date on those, so don't let it go to waste. You can use those on spreads, futures, money lines, parlays, and more. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting. They've been doing it for a long time, and they're the best at it. And one of the reasons why they're the best at it is because they give you early payout offers across NHL, NBA, MLB, and NFL. Whatever the criteria is, you hit a certain point, boom, cashed out right then and there on the spot. Doesn't matter how the game finishes out. You'll get paid money right in your account right on the spot. And keep an eye out for our PHLY custom boost bets, because Bet365 is boosting over 10,000 bets every single month to help you win more. So keep an eye out for ours. I'm pretty good so far at crafting these. Hopefully you can follow to a winner. So download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Well, as I'm watching scores around the league, the Yankees and Royals are tied up 2-2. Fernando Tatis Jr. just got his first K of this postseason series. It's game 4 for them. He hasn't struck out once. He's human. And apparently, there are other teams that are giving their fans lots of happy vibes and positive feelings and restoring their confidence in their team. With our friends over at Glatt Hair Restoration, you can restore your confidence in how you look and how you feel. And with Glatt Hair Restoration, you have an opportunity, as they've now partnered with the Morgenstern Center for Orbital and Facial Plastic Surgery, that they're going to welcome the Glatt Group to their practice. So you get Dr. Morgenstern, who is a nationally recognized specialist and one of the few surgeons in the country that are trained in oculofacial plastic surgery, facial cosmetic surgery, general trauma surgery, and other practices, who's going to be working alongside of the Glatt Hair Restoration Group. So now what does that mean? That means you're going to get the opportunity to take advantage of some great high-end treatments, and they're going to work with you at Glatt Hair Restoration to figure out which works best for you. Is it laser light therapy? Is it hair restoration surgery? Is it PRP and stem cell restoration? Is it vitamin supplementation or non-invasive TED treatments, or even topical or oral medications? There are lots of different treatments that work for you that help with all stages of hair loss. So with those leading edge treatments, preventions, and restorations that they look to provide, every patient gets complimentary one-on-one consultations to figure out the best course of treatment. And they're also going to work closely with you with their caring patient advocates from that first phone call, that first doctor's appointment, all the way through to the final follow-up visit, to make sure they're understanding what you're looking for, providing the best service, and also giving you the best support. So change your hair, change your life with their cutting-edge treatments. It's all about innovation with them, and their breakthrough treatments are drastically working to help change lives. So bald is now optional, guys. Bald is great for some of you. You're pulling it off. You look great, but it's optional. You have other choices. If you want to improve how you look and how you feel about yourself, Glatt Hair has the right treatment for you. You can regain your confidence and visit glatthairmctr.com or give them a call at 610-980-4000 to get started today.
All right, I'll read you a very sad tweet from our own Rich Hoffman.
Oh, no.
Seems like Quintana was in the zone just 37% of the time tonight. And I'm reading Rich's tweet, that's just like the same way they lost last year. He had 2 walks. Much easier to pitch to a lineup when you can live outside the strike zone. Oh, well, very frustrating. Now, I say this to lead to the broader picture, which we'll talk about more tomorrow, I'm sure, or Friday, whenever the hell we're doing a show. I don't even know our own schedule anymore, because our schedule was in the hands of the Phillies, and we've yet to talk about that. The broader picture now, and the reason this one hurts so much, is because this window has shrunk.
Yeah.
And it's very much, there's Jose Quintana's spray chart tonight.
Super colorful.
A lot below the knees. How about that? Who would have ever thunk that somebody would give the Phillies slop? A lot inside, too.
So the red is the four-seam fastball. The green, I'm just trying to kind of do this on the fly. The yellow, is the slider. The green is, now it's, of course, the changeup. And the blue is the cutter. The light blue, lavender-ish thing is the sweeper.
So he threw all 5. He wasn't in the zone a ton.
Well, and here's the thing, guys. We talked about this pregame. What Quintana does well is he shortens his sample size when he's facing the lefties. Look where the sweeper is.
Yeah.
It's all in the outer black and well off of it, actually, to where the left-handed hitters would be. He uses it kind of exclusively against left-handed hitters. That's exactly where it's supposed to be. Then, on the other hand, you've got... He kind of
jams you with a changeup.
Yeah, well, buried changeup. Well, I think this is more almost burying changeups away to right-handed hitters.
Yeah.
And then the orange is, I said the orange was a slider. The orange is the sinker. The orange, for the most part, you can see a bulk of them. Now he left a couple of them over the plate, but a bulk of them are in on the fists and in on up underneath the hands to left-handed hitters.
Yeah, it's
we talked about what his game plan was going to be, and he went and did exactly what we said he was going to do.
Boobs on the internet. And not those kind of boobs, people. There's different boobs on the internet. I meant boobs as in Tyler and I, and I'm not going to lump you in, Renee, with the boob conversation. But if boobs like Tyler and I can point it out in a pregame show, I'm sure as hell convinced Rob Thompson, Kevin Long, and the coaching staff of the Phillies are saying these words out loud to the Phillies hitters.
Yeah.
I'm sure when they're in the cages and on their iPads and looking at pitch charts and expected pitches and certain counts and all the advanced analytics, I'm sure they're aware of this. And for 2 postseasons in a row, their approach at the plate has failed in a major fashion. Now, the bigger picture and why this hurts so much is changes have to be made. You cannot run it back again.
No.
This was the end of the road for running it back. I personally wish Johan Rojas and Brandon Marsh success. Seem like nice people. I'm done. I'm done watching them play outfield for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do defensively in a 162-game season. When you become an automatic out in the playoffs for 2 postseasons in a row, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Changes have to be made, whether it's Anthony Santander, whatever. Bryce Harper needs more protection. There's an itching part of my brain that wants to bring up a lineup change. Because, Tyler, I said I wasn't going to revisit the conversation.
But if it's not working... Everything deserves to be revisited when you're falling short of expectations.
We'll revisit that another time. Right now, I'm not even going to say it.
I am not ready to have this fight with you tonight.
I am not. I'm not even saying it. I'm just saying from the 30,000-foot view looking down on this team, things have to change.
Yeah.
Whether it's roster construction, hitting approach, lineup, whatever, something majorly has to be different next year.
Yeah.
I personally would love to see Bryce Harper bat first or second in the lineup because I want that man up as much as humanly possible. You need a better left fielder. You need a better center fielder. Third base has now become a question mark after his performance in the postseason. Bryson Stott took a major regression. I'm not saying I'm changing third or second, but everything is on the table for being evaluated because it's now 3 postseasons in a row with 3 similar results. The book is out on you. Teams know how to play you and pitch you. Something has to change, or I'm going to turn into the Joker, baby.
Yeah. Whew. Listen, at the end of the day...
Jamie's villain origin story here.
No, seriously. At the end of the day, when it gets to a point of year after year after year with the same mistakes, you cannot continue to run back.
Freddie Galvis is available, Spiral Out says.
Yeah.
Get him back here.
Listen, I do want to say, whether you're a Phillies fan or a Mets fan and you're coming in this chat, and I love that we have so many people that are here, this conversation's really popping off. Just leave any sexism and other weird discriminatory comments at the door. I know, you're not reading, I'm reading. Leave the discriminatory and sexist comments at the door. This is not the space for that, just because you can't handle a woman talking sports, God forbid. Yeah, it's fine, whatever. So for the Phillies have had so many issues back to back. And listen, I have always said this, and people don't like to hear the reality. We even saw this in the World Series. The only difference was, at that point, as a team that barely got in as a wild card, barely, there was a Cinderella run, you were just so excited that they got to the World Series that we really took it, and we were just like, okay, exciting, they got there, they'll learn from this, and they'll build off of this. Yep. But when you really look at how they lost in the World Series, and ever since then, and not even just postseason, the craziest thing about this is the Phillies don't just wait until the playoffs for these blunders. It happens in the regular season, but we put blinders onto it because they're the best team in baseball, because they had such a great lead in the NL East. And then you turn around, your first ever playoff series matchup against a division rival in the Mets, and you go out there and you lose, and you're fortunate they didn't get swept. Because to be honest, the Phillies were 3 innings away from getting swept. So this is not working, whether it's the lineup, whether it's the makeup of the actual roster, coaching. There's a lot of things that need to be reevaluated. And I know some of you were mentioning like Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton. Everybody has to reevaluate their own individual roles. The accountability has to be there. I've been on plenty of teams. We've all been on plenty of teams. When you get to another point of the season and you do not reach expectations, it's not working. So what are we going to continue rolling this back out? You go 162 games to get to the end and have the same exact result as last year, but to be honest, even worse. At least you got to a Game 7 in the NLCS. At least you won the wild card round, won the NLDS versus the Braves, and then you lost. You couldn't even get out of the first round of games that the Phillies played in. Great, they had a first round bye, because to be honest, playing like this, they might have been bounced in the wild card round. So you have 4 games of postseason action, and in those 4 games, because you couldn't even get to a Game 5, you're lucky it was 4 and not a 3-game sweep. So when you look at how they lost and you see things, okay, the Phillies scored 12 runs the entire NLDS. So in 4 games, they scored 12 runs total. Playoff game. They scored 2 runs in the first 5 innings of all 4 games combined. It's not okay to start off games and your offense is nowhere to be found. So yes, Zach, Christopher, Ranger, Aaron, they did have a lot of work to be done, because at the end of the day, your offense was giving you absolutely nothing. Nothing. 2 runs the entire first 5 innings of each of the 4 games. So in 20 innings combined of baseball, I don't care if you're male or female, you can understand this. To score 2 runs in 20 innings of playoff baseball is unacceptable. And then you talk about the bullpen struggles. Well, yes, 7 of their relievers pitched in one of the games of the series. Every single one of them allowed at least 1 run. And on top of that, as a collective, they gave up a whopping 16 earned runs in 12 2/3 innings. So here's some math for you guys. 20 innings of offense, the Phillies offense scored 2 runs. 12 2/3 innings of bullpen relief work that we saw. They gave up 16 earned runs. Which is greater, guys? 16 earned runs in 12 2/3 innings, or 2 runs in 20 innings. You just can't have this. It's both sides of it that are so ridiculously eye-opening that down the stretch, aside from their starting pitching, nobody else showed up. So to your point, Jamie, everyone, in my opinion, I'm going to take like an Abby Lee Miller from Dance Mom's line. Everyone's replaceable.
No idea what that means.
That's a great show. It was a great show back in the day.
I doubt
Everyone's replaceable.
Everyone
can go.
Mom's is good.
It was a great show. Great show.
Doubt that.
Everyone can go. And obviously there's contracts, there's finances, there's a lot to look at. And when you have, and the biggest moments of the season, your biggest players do not show up. That's what's driving. Every time I watch an ALDS or NLDS game and I see, Aaron Judge make a play, or even a Jazz Chisholm, or, Manny Machado, whoever make plays, I'm like, dang, Phillies, why can't that be you? Because in 20 innings, their offense scored 2 total runs. And one of those runs, let's make it even worse, was Kyle Schwarber's leadoff home run, first pitch, first game. So in the remaining 19 innings after that, they only scored 1 run. And you wonder why you're going home. You wonder why the season's over. So no, it's not just complaining to complain. If they had lost and just got outplayed and, again, it was competitive baseball, it's extra innings, it's back and forth. Okay, sometimes I can give credit where credit's due. If you're just, the other team was better on that day. But when you don't even show up, what are you doing? Game after game. That's how you start games is bad, and how you're finishing games is actually even worse. So just the numbers are startling. They're bad, and every single player needs to be evaluated.
All right, real quick. Let's just, because, we're going to have weeks and months to talk about.
Oh, yeah, plenty of time now.
Let's just real quick.
Anybody want to take a PTO day tomorrow? Anybody interested?
I think we all deserve a PTO day.
Day off.
Let's do a temp check.
Real quick.
Phillies get the day off tomorrow. I think we should too.
Here's the temp check. Brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services. Go to acehardwarehomeservices.com. And the temp check is this, just gut reactions. We're all running hot right now. And if you're, I don't know, HVAC system or plumbing, maybe that's not running hot enough. Maybe your HVAC's running too hot. Call the pros over at acehardwarehomeservices.com and get them out there and take a look at it. I'm running hot right now, but I'm going to probably say some things that, on the ride home or tomorrow morning, I go like, all right, that was reactionary. Dial it back. You need a little AC in your unit. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about the positions on the field. Who do you feel great about going forward?
Starting
First base.
Oh.
We all agree.
Correct.
Feel great about Bryce Harper.
Yes.
One of the best signings in franchise history. We're leaving the bullpen out of this. We're leaving the starting pitching out of this.
Fair.
Bryson Stott.
I mean, I think you don't have to leave the starting pitching because I think you should feel
well,
good.
I just don't want to extend this conversation for 25 minutes getting into everyone. I'm just going offensive players because I think we all agree offense and bullpen were the biggest failures of this. Second base, Bryson Stott. Reality is I don't feel great about him, but I like him a whole lot. I think he's shown you more than enough that you feel good about the future with Bryson Stott. Do you guys agree?
So,
ooh, real reactionary, real hot take coming.
If you're going position by position, I'll be honest with you.
We're going first, and then we're going left to say.
I'm going to give answers based off of not my money, and it's not I'm not the lawyer and involved in the contracts and the fine print. Somebody, I think, between Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm might need tweaking. Okay.
Financially, I don't think you're getting better than either of the two of them. So
right.
I think
so by tweaking,
says, like,
it might not be. I don't know what that looks like, but between the two of them, something's got to be.
Tyler,
tweaked.
how do you feel about Bryson Stott going into next year right now?
Right now, I mean, he is a defensive stalwart and
Gold Glove caliber player.
Regressed offensively from 23 to kind of reverted back to a 22 form.
Yeah.
When he looked overmatched at times. I feel okay with Bryson Stott.
Not great.
Because I trust the defense.
Sure.
I felt great with Bryson Stott heading into 2024.
So
I feel okay looking at 2025.
Okay, so we have one feel great about. Let's go to shortstop and the $300 million man, Trey Turner. Does anybody here feel great about Trey Turner in the year 2025?
Not particularly.
I think I felt great about Trey in.
I feel good. I don't feel great.
I think when I look over Trey's tenure, there's been about 2 total months I felt great about Trey.
He's been a very
in
weird
all
signing.
The games.
And not in something I wanted Trey Turner. I thought he was better than what we were getting. I think there's a better player in there for a long term, but it's been very weird. It's been a very weird relationship with Philadelphia and Trey Turner. Tyler, do you feel great about Trey Turner going forward?
No.
Yeah. No, that's the conversation.
No, I don't feel great.
You feel good.
About
I don't feel great about him.
By the way, and I know you guys, I don't want to derail this too much. I know you guys were talking about potential of how do you fit in moves. Next year, the projected payroll with just the guys that are currently on roster is $242 million, and the tax threshold comes in at about $241 million.
Oh boy.
Crazy.
You're kind of up against.
Oh, you're landlocked.
You're up against the use an NBA term. You're up against the apron here a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, and you could blow through it if you want, but it's going to start to result in loss of draft picks and moving back. And
Well,
things like
that's
that.
why- third base.
But that's why when I said my point, it's at the end of the day, I'm not considering like in this reactionary
We're not talking
conversation.
about money at
we're
all
not
right
talking
now.
about
We're just
money.
talking
We're
about
not
the
talking
player.
about their any contracts or anything.
No, do I feel great
Strictly
about
about
Trey
the
Turner?
player.
No, I don't feel
Trey,
great.
no,
about Trey
correct.
Turner.
No,
Let's get to third
that's not our
base.
promise. Dom has mentioned stuck with the
Bohm.
contract.
Does
Not our
anybody
problem.
here feel great about the
No.
future of Alec Bohm?
No.
No. I think Alec Bohm is going to be the Phillies' third baseman for 2 more years.
Until Aiden Miller gets here.
No, well,
So-
I think it's just based until his arbitration's up.
Sure, and it's arbitration year 2. He's projected to make
he's got 2 more years of
8.1 this
arbitration.
year based on market value. So we feel great about one infielder heading
Correct.
forward. We feel good about some others. I think Bohm,
Good,
Turner,
sure.
and Stott are all
Like
in
I
the
think
good
between
category.
the 3 of them, I like them as
Okay.
one
Let's get to the outfield.
catcher.
He'll be last.
Stubbs. Gotta go.
Left field, Brandon Marsh / Austin Hayes / Weston Wilson /
Keep West and the rest can go.
whatever the hell else you want to throw at the wall. Cody Clemens.
No.
Does anybody even feel a modicum of good towards left field position?
No.
It's the best of the worst.
Let's take
No,
it to center
your
field.
starting left fielder next year is going to be Austin Hayes. That's just how it is.
You need a left fielder that can give you
Wait,
some offense.
Your starting left fielder next season is going to be Austin Hayes.
I thought he was an expiring contract.
No, I'm
He
pretty
has
sure
one
he's
more
under
year?
contract for 1 more year.
Oh,
Dave Dombrowski
one more year?
Dave Dombrowski doesn't often acquire positional players who don't have.
I thought he was one of the
I thought we were
rare
kind of in
ones.
the clear for him.
Tyler, you said that and he
Wait,
kind of
yeah,
knocked
Ben
my
Ace
socks
was
off.
saying, wasn't Hayes just a rental? I thought it was just
rental
this
too.
season.
I'm gonna
I
have
thought the
to-
1 year was this season.
They're saying there's a
2025, he's on the
estimate.
payroll for 6.4. It says estimate. So wait, signed a 1 year 6.4 with the Phillies. What? No, this doesn't seem right.
I'm pretty
Spot
sure
check.
he has 1 more year of
Well,
arbitration.
kill me now. Left field.
No.
We feel pretty terrible
Yeah,
about left
this
field.
winter will be his final time going through the arbitration process. He's got
Yeah,
1 more year
okay,
of
I hate
arbitration.
it here.
He's probably your starting left fielder next year.
I hate it.
Jeez.
Center field.
I like Johan, but no.
No.
I want a player that can give you something on both sides of the ball. We need offense. Defense is great, but everybody can't just be defensive
And
pieces.
right field. I feel good about Nick. I don't feel great about Nick.
Nick had 2 hits today. I mean, this
Nick's
team.
not the problem.
He's not.
I'm
I was gonna
roast
say
Nick.
of the 5 hits they had all game,
All right, let's go to the catcher position.
4 hits they had all game. Nick had half of them.
So we feel great about one Phillies positional player going forward. Let's get to the catcher position, and that's JT Realmuto. He's no longer the best catcher in baseball, but he's
No.
certainly one of the best. He gave you an offer in the playoffs. There was an injury involved, grinds it out, catches a great staff, blah, 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 blah. Do you feel great about JT Realmuto going forward?
You need a good backup. No, you need a
Tyler,
good
do you feel
backup
good
catcher,
about JT
so you don't have to
Realmuto
play him
going
as much
forward?
next season.
Defensively, yes, I think the offense is going to decline.
I think they need to have a better backup catcher. He
So
can't
real
play as many
quick,
games.
Garrett Stubbs is not going to be here as long as Rafael Marchand stays healthy during the offseason.
Don't care
He
about
is
the
your
vibes
backup.
and the playlists.
So just to recap our quick conversation, immediate reaction to the end of the year and the offensive players on this team, we feel exactly great about one player. That's 8 offensive position players. Kyle Schwarber as a DH, I feel pretty great about him, I guess. So we'll throw him in the mix, even though
Yeah,
he
I
doesn't
feel
play.
great there.
Yeah,
That's
so
the-
we
yeah,
feel
for sure.
we feel great about 2 of 9 positions offensively
Correct.
going forward. You see why I brought this up?
Yeah, bad. Not a good
Now, there's a
time
couple
check.
guys you feel good about. Nick, you feel good about. I think Trey, you feel good about. And Alec and Bryson, I think, have earned the opportunity to, hopefully make us feel great again one day. But when I say, the toughest part about this NLDS series loss is the cold reality of the fact that things have to change.
They do.
And change is not easy. Change is not guaranteed success. Change is not this or that. Change is scary. Whether it be, rearranging your utensil drawer in your kitchen or changing your Wi-Fi at work and not knowing the password. change can be scary. And I think a lot of change has to happen. And that's the reality now that we deal with. We're thrust into an off season quicker than we thought was going to happen, feeling worse about a team we loved. And that is why this hurts so bad. That is why this feels so bad. We had a core we loved with some personalities and characters we loved, with guys we gave the opportunity with our emotional equity had earned it. And we said, no, I like you guys. I trust you guys. You're going to go out there. You're going to get it done. You're going to battle like Ranger. And they didn't. And
not battle.
You can't run it back again. So we're at this crossroads now, a franchise crossroads of what do they do? How do they change it? Money is tight. Get creative, Dave Dombrowski. And if you want to talk about Dave Dombrowski, he's built a nice team. He's built a great regular season team. His playoff. Yes, they are playoff acquisitions. His trade deadline acquisitions 2 years in a row have been massive flops. Carlos Estevez, really nice player. Looked good in the regular season. Even looked okay at times in this series. He allowed 14 earned runs in 23 innings. Austin Hayes, he gave up nothing, so I can't cry about that. Flop. Dave Dombrowski failed this team in the deadline. Tanner Banks was a guy.
But to your point, there was a time we were talking about what's our rotation for high leverage arms? Who do we think is the true closer out of this group? Who do we trust most? And then jokes on us. We were talking about the order of Hoffman, Estevez, Strom, Kerkering, Alvarado. Joke is on us because you get to the playoffs and it's none of them. Trick question, none of them could be counted on in a high leverage situation. Again, in 12 and 2, that's crazy.
Jeff Hoffman
16 runs.
Is a free agent and can make big money in this league. And he just went out in NLDS and gave you a 40.50 ERA. After 162 games of looking like the man, he went out there in 4 games and gave you a 40 ERA. Matt Strom gave you a 36 ERA. How do you account for that? Now, to let Dave Dombrowski off the hook for a quick second, Rob Thompson off the hook for a quick second, how do you ever factor that in to a postseason equation?
They don't have postseason
the players
experience.
Failed. Rob Thompson. All right, let's buzz through the super chats and get the hell out of here because I'm sick of talking about this team. They broke my heart.
I'm so sorry to add. While we're getting all of it out there, there is one more thought that I have in my head that I can't help but think. Not only is it bad to lose to the Mets, but for the last 2 seasons to be a team that beat the Braves back-to-back and talk so much crap, and then we also get bounced in the NLDS, for the sole purpose of showing some sort of pride for the NL East, you can't then go out and turn around, get a first-round bye, and lose and Braves on this season. We pulled the Braves. We pulled the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, we did.
So
we did.
Let's hit those super chats and hit the door.
Oh, I think we've covered them all, actually.
Just motivational guy gave us one more. I don't know what it says, but just
I think sometimes you can just super chat, and
cool.
I think it's just
just send it some money.
Yeah,
we appreciate that.
I'm not sure
Give me
how
my
that
money.
Works.
Just kidding.
I know that trend.
You know that.
Hey, you're not gonna bust me with that. Give me my money.
Give me my money.
Yeah,
well, let's get on out of here, Jamie. Wrap us up, man.
Well,
man,
we're gonna be back.
This is it. This is our final post-game show.
Yeah, you can't blame us for the post-game jinx anymore. That sucked. It was a great regular season, but I have a hard time finding nice words to say.
So I gotta say something, if you don't mind.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
So
just show yourself while you do it, you coward. Say it with your chest. Let the people see your face.
I do have one thing
for
to say.
For our final post-game show of 2024.
So I went back and forth. I went back and forth with a handful of people throughout the year and I defended this baseball team. Y'all were right. They came up small. They came up really, really, really small offensively. And it wasn't a defensive this baseball team with 2 games to play where I'm they'll just flip a switch and everything will be fine. It was they came out of that really bad July slump and things felt a little bit cleaner. I wouldn't say it was back to May clean, but it felt a little bit cleaner. The pitching was really good, and I had held out hope that when the team kind of got healthy again, with JT returns and Alec Boehm gets back, that that this thing would kind of correct itself a little bit. For anybody that was that was on the other side of things, you were right. I was wrong. Congratulations. I hope it doesn't give you any solace. I hope it, because this sucks. But in that regard,
you know what the worst part of tonight is, Tyler? You making me realize that Austin Hayes has one more year here.
There's a lot of bad things I take away from tonight.
I put that on you.
I put that on you. It's wild.
I mean, I don't
all
know
the bad things that we've just encountered.
Next, like 2 weeks of my painful sports existence life, thinking at least Austin Hayes is gone.
By the way,
and then you had to DDT me with, oh yeah, he's got one more year.
Got a comment. Dylan says, "You mean the Mets came up big?" Yeah, the Mets played a good series. The Mets
let's go Padres. Am I right?
The Mets pitching
Absolutely,
staff was good. The starters had a game plan in I would say 3 of the 4 games, and they executed in 3 of those 4 games. Obviously, it's unfair to kind of figure out what the game plan was for Kodai Senga. He only pitched 2, but Minaya was good. Severino was fairly good. And tonight Quintana was good. So if you want to say the Mets came up big, sure. Yeah, by all means.
Yeah,
I mean, Jose Quintana has given up 2 runs since August 31st.
Yeah, he's been awesome basically since the calendar flipped September.
So were our starting pitchers.
I'm out of things to say. Not really. I could bitch and moan about this team for the next 3 hours, and we'll probably do it again tomorrow.
Maybe will.
But that is a monumental failure of a baseball season. You can cut that any way you want. Division champs, doesn't matter. Who gives a damn? You just went out in the NLDS and you've regressed every season for the past 3 seasons. Something's got to change. Dave Dombrowski, John Middleton, I'm looking at you. This team needs an overhauling. They need fresh life.
Yeah.
And this isn't it. This isn't working. Something's got to give. Kevin Long, Rob Thompson, players, roster, draft picks, it's all on the table. Something's got to give. Change something. We thank our friends at Miller Lite and Ace Hardware Home Services for bringing you these watch-alongs and pre- and post-game. The reality is the season's over.
We're not done, though.
We will be here. But
every
the Phillies
day.
got a lot to do.
We don't leave, guys.
We don't leave. We'll be here every day.
The Phillies got to go back to the drawing board and figure it out, because the championship window, much like the wonderful windows at Ace Hardware Home Services, it's closing.
Yeah, but those windows open back up.
Ace is good. They do give you windows that open back up. This Phillies team, I'm a week away from saying Aiden Miller and Andrew Painter lead us to the promised land. Thanks for hanging out with us.
I feel like we should cue the Vitamin C graduation song.
I don't even know what that is. Oh, that one. Yeah, I know that one.
Renee's gonna get us banned.
It's the end of the road.
Yeah, you're gonna get us banned here.
Well, to everybody in Red City, let's go Padres. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Let's go,
Padres. I hate to say that out loud, but I hate the Mets. Enjoy your momentary glimpse. I hope
let's
you
go
all
Eagles,
the
Sixers,
worst.
Flyers, and Padres.
Eagles, I can't wait for you to break my hearts on Sunday. Sixers and Flyers seasons are starting. I'm sure you'll crap on my chest in no time. To everybody that hung out with us this year, thank you. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here in your therapy room for Phillies baseball. That sucked. See you later.
We all silly like the mayor.